Hi guys, my name is Mark and in today's video we will prove if the KEYCHRON Q2 keyboard can be my new main keyboard, guys. Let's go. So this is a KEYCHRON Q2, and if you know my other reviews, I basically made the Ducky 1.3 Mini with silent red switches in an ANSI version, not the German ISO version. And I'm coming from Germany, and right now or today I will show you basically something I was interested in because I was in love with the Ducky Mecha Mini, the 1.2 Mecha Mini, which was or is still one of my favorite pre-built keyboards. But besides of the ergonomics and of the latency and of some other stuff, it's like outdated for me. And then I saw after I bought the Q1 already, which was a 75% keyboard, which I've never finished or never built because I had a lack of interest in it because it was so huge. 75% is just a no-go for me for gaming. 65 is already kind of big. I'm more the mini guy because I'm not working on this PC, I'm only gaming. And I saw there's the Q2. I just ordered it then. Basically, it's very expensive over here in Germany. I paid like 220 euros and it's like 240 US dollar. And on the KEYCHRON page, for example, you can get it for 169 US dollar. Besides this, I managed to also get some double shot PBT keycaps, basically from a company I did not, well, I don't want to buy anything anymore from Glorious, but it's the only keycap set which was double shot PBT and fast available and has enough keys or this kind of keys who or caps who would fit here. And then I just decided myself to buy some stuff which is like a little bit uncommon and very new. I have 4 brand new switches you surely don't know, and I found no review about them. That's basically 3 or 4 different kind of speed switches, basically from Kailh. Those 3 are the new V2 switches. They are like the bronze, the silver and the copper one. I will explain later how the characteristics are and how I tested them in here, in LDAT, in the Q2 and in the Ducky 1.3 Mini. And also I did test the box super speeds, so the only box switches available, as much as I know, who are also have the characteristics of a speed switch, like a silver, a Sherry MX silver. And I also played the silver very long term on my Mecha Mini, the last one I've bought, the latest updated version with the newest firmware. But I don't have the silver Sherry's hot swaps on the 1.3 Mini. That's kind of sad for me because I were waiting so long for the German version, but the German version on the only German reseller is still not available. It takes like ages. I have the 1.3 Mini from Mechanic from Measured Keyboards, I think since early December or something like that. And it's like now 4 or 5 months I own it, and it's still super nice, super smooth, no creaking, no scratching, nothing. And I just want the German ISO. So that's why I bought this one, because I thought I will get here the Mecha Mini style. And I also get a new keyboard with good hardware, a good PCB, a good overall feeling, which is hot swappable, which is QMK, which is VR. But basically, to be honest, I'm not the guy who wants to build, to assemble, to swap and switch those damping stuff, to make new wall in it, to whatever. I just put it out of the box, put in the switches, put on the keycaps and just played it. That's it. That's what I've done. So now you ask me, but why you buy a custom then? Because the availability in Germany for high-class keyboards with hot swap switches, with double shot PBT options, with which is worthy and gladly is very low. And I knew KEYCHRON for very long now. We have some KEYCHRON keyboards. I also have a low profile KEYCHRON one, which was very disappointing to be honest, and I've never reviewed. And I thought, okay, the Q1 was kind of goodish. I tried the Q2. I just put it out of the box. The box, by the way, is this here. And in the box also is a Kailh cable. I think aftermarket price is like between 20 and 40 euro. Better ones cost like 50 to 60 euro. It's kind of okayish. Feeling is great. Not gonna lie. That's what I expect for when I pay like 220 euro for something, you know. It was okay. Rest in the box is like the switch puller, which is very bad. The screwdriver, which is very bad. A Germany we say Sechskantschlüssel, which is very bad. And some screws for the stabilizers and some damping, and the keycap puller, which is okayish. So nothing special in the box. Then you also had like a little paper for how to install and whatever. It was okay. How can I say? I think most people who are new to build custom keyboards are kind of like, okay, that's it. Because I was like this. I was like, you know, okay, I had the Q1 already, and here again I thought, basically they give you just nothing. You just pay like 220 euro for a piece of metal with a PCB in it, with a controller, with an MCU unit, which is basically very solid, just out of the CNC works. So the metal works is very good, it's very solid. It weighs 1.7 to 1.8 kilos, basically the same weight as the Q1, but the Q2 is smaller, and that's why it feels more heavy, because the whole weight is on a smaller form factor. Also, I choose the version with the pre-installed knob. The knob feels very versy, to be honest, but one thing is like, the flex, guys. As I have no idea why everything is flexing so hard. It's on the whole keyboard. I have no clue if I have to open it and have to like make something more of damping material into it or whatever. I have no idea, because no one told me, and there's nothing to find about it in everything KEYCHRON sent me. And I don't want to search for it because I paid 220 euro. Okay, now you would say, but 220 euro indicates a high involvement product. It's okayish, but honestly, if I pay more for a better product, okay, if I pay more for a better product, it has to be better. Final Mouse proven us wrong already, and maybe KEYCHRON is doing it again, because 220 euro for this with the huge flex on the PCB and the huge flex on the metal in total. So the metal plate itself is also flexing a lot. It's not acceptable for me, to be honest, and it's kind of destroying the picture of a solid made metal body, CNC made CNC work body. So it's like, Also, another thing I was realizing really fast is that the art or type of stabilizers they are using, which is like, not gonna lie, not the best one. Even if I compare it with my Ducky, with the 1.3 Mini, the stabilizers are way better than this one. And keep in mind, the Ducky is starting the Mini at 109, so 110 US dollar. This one is starting at 170 US dollar. That's kind of wow. Also, you have to keep in mind that you need to buy way more here to get it upset to run. And the Ducky is already finished. It works, and you can hot swap, and you have double shot PBT high level, and you have good switches from Cherry inside. And you need to buy everything extra. So I just bought everything extra, as I told you. I just bought these switches, those box speed switches, which I will show you the data also for, because I just collected the data. Basically, the box switches are as much as I know, the first real box switches who are comparable to Speed Silvers. Just in the characteristics, they have a pre-travel of 1.3 millimeters, and they have a total travel distance of 3.6 millimeters. That's very classic for silver or silver styled speed switches. Feels very good. They have no real squeezing or scratching when you press them. Also, just by the sound, there's no problem. I can show you how they sound. That's kind of nice. MX keycaps are working on them, no problem. The rest is like, yeah, it's okay. Nothing special for me. One thing what was like a little bit strange for me is that the how can I explain it? So the deviation value they give you for the switch on the total travel and on the point where the actuation is, so the actuation point is 0.3 millimeters. That's kind of a lot, because imagine it's 1 and not 1.3, or 1.6 and not 1.3 millimeters on the actuation. That's kind of a lot, to be honest, because then it gets close to other switch types, you know. Kind of strange for me. I have no idea what the reason for this is. If it's in general just the quality of Kailh, but if you just look up for the box speed switch, for the ultimate switch, I also seeked out the pricing for you, and it's not cheap, guys. It's like 90 pieces or 60 euro. Basically, it's the same in US dollar. We realized that if you put the prices on euro on Ali, they are even more expensive than you just buy in US dollar. I have no clue why. So 100 pieces is 67, and this would be like 65 US dollar, by the way. So that's a lot for 90 pieces, and for 75% you minimum need those 90s, because you only have like 10 left. Depends on how the design is. And if you do a 60% with 90 pieces, you have some more left, yeah, but not that much. So keep this in mind, buy minimum 90 pieces, because sometimes you have some problems with the backside. So yeah, how can I say it? The pins for the hot swap are may not good, or they are corrode, or so they're just not. You're just not able to put them into your PCB for some reason. There could be many reasons. So buy some more. Please keep this in mind when you do a pre-build, so a custom build for yourself. Then the other ones I ordered were like these, all these speed switches. That's basically the speed switch version 2 family of Kailh, which is like very new. It's like 1 or 2 months old. I did not find any review about it on YouTube or somewhere else. And also I have a little problem. I don't have those hot swappable Sherry Silvers here to really compare them, but I will get those Sherry Silvers, the new ones, just to compare them how they are against those super speed switches, which come in copper, which are these ones. They have a very high force factor. They are like 60 kilonewton. It's kind of heavy. That's these guys here. I show you. Need to put my cat away. That's these guys here. They also sound very good, to be honest, and they have a very good feeling, good feedback feeling, because they are heavy. Then the next ones on the list are those bronze ones or gold ones. They really surprised me, not gonna lie, when I first read about them. And it said like actuation point 1.1 millimeter, like all of them, and the total travel 3.5, and clicky. And I thought, what the fuck, clicky, man. So the stream, if you are a streamer, you know people don't like clicky, or you have a very good noise gate. But these ones are like, oh wait. No one heard them on stream. I played them for like 4 days straight. No one was realizing I play clicky speed switches. Awesome. And I have a very good setup. It's like a Rode Procaster and a very good adjusted filter. So it's very nice. It's basically very open also, because I have the microphone behind my PC, so behind the screen, and people still can hear me very good in a very high quality. And only if I put the keyboard close to the microphone and do this, they hear it. Kind of nice. The other ones are those classic silvers, then basically the same characteristics, but the lowest force, operating force at 38 kilonewton. That's kind of standard for those silvers. fast silvers, but not gonna lie, I have like the silvers here from Sherry, the old ones, not hot swappable, and my Ducky Measure Mini, which was my old main. Okay, that's in total the board is louder, but just by feeling I would prefer the silvers from Sherry, to be honest. But in general, in my ranking, at first I have those coppers, the tactiles, so the clickies, they feel very nice. That's the first of them. Then I have the heavy ones, also very good. Then the box speeds, and then as last, or on the last place, the silvers for me. That's my personal ranking for them and how I felt while I'm using them, and I used them all. Also, I benchmarked them, L-dotted them on the Q2 and also on the Ducky Mini. I used always the same position on the PCB. I used the K here and there, and always hot swapped the same switch on the different keyboards just to have a very good comparison. And I will show you or I tell you about the numbers later. Back to the switches, which is like one very crucial thing to get very good switches or switches you like, and there are tons of switches out there. Here you have like 10 pieces, like €3.50, 60, that's close to $4 US. Here it says $3 US 81 for 10 pieces, and then you need 90, so you're close to $35 US for those 90 pieces. It's a little bit less expensive than the box ultimate switches, kinda good. Maybe choose 2 of them, try them, or just use other switches. Also, I'm not a KEYCHRON switch fan. I honestly would love to stick with Cherries, because those Cherry quality and the speed and the debounce timings are insane for mechanical switches, and the cross-point gold system is also very, very good, very reliable, very long-term on the same feeling. From this side, I can say everything okay here. And as I said, I just use it out of the box. I didn't change anything. I did not QMK. I checked QMK and VIA, but I did not flash the keyboard with new VIA or changed any settings. And at the end, I made those elder tests like I always do, because as you know, I'm playing Apex a lot, had a small competitive background. Back in the days, still reached Master already weeks ago, already bringing my Smurf to Master like in the next 2 days on EU servers in Apex. It's it's kind of a hobby for me now to play on this level, besides making everything else. And I just checked the latencies for you. Give me a second, I need to find the right window. So I have the window here now. Basically the latencies are starting like this, which start at the bottom as always. The very, very slowest version you can do is like using the Q2, and then you just use the clicky switches, which I like the most, but not gonna lie, in terms of latency, look like they are the slowest ones. Also the standard deviation is very high. The latency in general is 21.65 milliseconds, and we are close to 5 milliseconds in the standard deviation. That's not that good, because it could be 27 milliseconds or it could be 17 milliseconds, which is with 17 milliseconds still very high. Even if you compare it to the normal Ducky, which is like with the Cherry Red Silence, which are not speed switches, roughly 12 milliseconds, it's still 5 milliseconds higher. But one thing for you then, it's okay if you play a final mouse, you have a slow mouse and you have a slow keyboard. Also, please keep in mind, my system is a little bit faster than other systems. It's like a little bit more optimized for lower latencies and for lower RAM latencies, or latency orientated in general. So that's why my latency is kindly 6 to 12 milliseconds lower than yours, or basically on your system. The next one would be the Box Ultimate switch, the white one, which is, I hate the flex on it. It's completely flexing. Here it's just going in, it's like a dipper, whatever. So it's like 23.6 milliseconds in with a very high standard deviation, the highest I've measured, with 5.65 milliseconds, which is basically still 26 to 16 milliseconds, somewhere around this. And you don't want to have it like sometimes 16, sometimes 26 milliseconds, because it gives you insecureness and a different feeling. You know, it's like when you like jiggle or something, and you do left right, and it's more right than left, and you are still out there in the open, like where people can peek you or see you. That's like dumb, because you're not used to it, because you think it's always the same in and out while pressing, you know, and you can't get a real good feeling when the millisecond deviation is too high. Also, believe me, you will feel it. I have videos, or I've made videos or shown live on stream that, for example, with a final mouse, you are not able to shoot the bow one clicking. Why? Because the aviation and latency in total is so high, the bow is not shooting. Just to give you a small example, that latency matters. I know a lot of people tell you, it's latency doesn't matter. Okay, go back to Tetris, please. Just leave this channel, thanks. So the next one is then the silver one. So the classic silver V2 version here of those Kailhs is like 22.2 milliseconds with 5.31 milliseconds in the standard deviation. Still kind of high, it's above 20, and it's like 5 milliseconds deviation. And then we have those super speed V2 coppers, which are, just a small reminder, are the most heavy ones. So they are very heavy in the actuation, but they still have the same actuation point, 1.1 millimeter. They kind of surprised me. They have 18.75 milliseconds, but still have those 5 milliseconds in the standard deviation, which indicates for me that those 5 milliseconds are based on how the board or PCB in general is made, how maybe the register or the scan rate is solved or brought over by the MCU to the PCB, and how everything gets scanned, to be honest. Because they are basically all have those 5 milliseconds, some more, some less. That's kind of indicating how the PCB and how the board in general is made. Maybe you can switch this with updating the wire or making new flashing the chip or whatever, but as I told you, I just wanted the out of the box experience. In the next step, I just took out my main keyboard, the Ducky 1.3 Mini. With one of the very first, we pre-ordered it, and directly on the first batch we got them. Was early in December, I think, when we got them from Measure Keyboards, and I was kind of surprised about the overall feeling. Awesome board. Okay, it's plastic, but I think when the 1.3 is coming out as a Measure version, I will instantly buy one, minimum one, because I love the old Measure. I like the new Ducky in plastic, and I think I will love the new Ducky 1.3 in metal. Also, it's cheap. Relatively cheap compared to the competition. It's very good made, ergonomics are good, PBT is very good on the keycaps, the sound is good, it feels very worthy, not cheap, you can use it long term. I mean, I use it like 4 months, 5 months now, every day, minimum 8 hours, and the keycaps still look like fucking new. Also, the whole product looks like, okay, sure, it looked used, but I know some other keyboards from bigger brands which look like fucked after this time. I used another one for like 1 month. It looks like not that good, to be honest. And it's a very big brand, huh? So what did I have done? I just put in all the switches you can see here, the speed, the silver, the copper, and the bronze, which I call gold, into my 1.3 Mini, because it's hot swappable. I used the K for it again, like I used it also on the how you can see it's still the speed inside, also on the KEYCHRON. So I just swapped them all the time, and I just measured the latency also. The real latency here is 12.10 milliseconds with Sherry MX silent red switches, no speed switches, silent reds. And the next, or the next one in the list, just started by the slowest, is the box speed version, like I have it in here right now. This is 12.84 milliseconds. That's kind of slow. It also has a high standard deviation of like 2 milliseconds. Kind of disappointing for me, to be honest, but it has a very stable feeling, just how the box is made, and it's more like, yeah, it feels like a Panzer switch. In Germany we say Panzer. So a tank switch, you know. And but I think you understood me. But the next one would be the gold version. Then I call it gold. They call it copper, I think. Yeah, copper. That's the tactile. It was like 11.49 milliseconds with 1.42 milliseconds standard deviation, which is kind of 0.6 milliseconds faster than the silent reds. Kind of good for me. I think I will change the whole keyboard now with those coppers to play it in my Ducky. The next faster one would be the standard silvers here. They have like 11.25 with 1.8 milliseconds in deviation, which I want to really do compare with Sherry Silver hot swaps, to be honest. And then the fastest again are those heavy switches, the heavy speed switches. I have no clue why. They are 10.49 milliseconds. That's basically, in terms of speed, nearly the same speed like optical reds from Razer have. The V2s in the normal Huntsman, in the first Huntsman Mini V2s, it's basically the same speed. For a mechanical switch, that's kind of good. And there's no, I've done nothing. It's just 5 milliseconds debounce and rest is stock on the Ducky. And remember guys, $110 US, altogether over 300, nearly 350 US dollar. So I think you can conclude yourself what my opinion is right now. I think the case or how it made in general is very versatile, very good made by KEYCHRON, but they're lacking in terms of overall quality and in how the build is thought to an endpoint. You know, like at the end of the day, this is not 220 euro. I think it's also not 170 US dollar. It's more like 110, 120 for a bare bone, to be honest. And that's, I wouldn't pay more for this, to be honest. That's just it. It's okayish, but it's not the end game, guys. If you are interested in it because of how it's made, how versatile it looks, feels, how heavy it is, you can buy it. And if you are capable or want to do something on it or do more on it than I've done, I think it could be or it can be worth it. But for me, it's a no-go. It's too expensive at the end of the day, and I will stick with those pre-built Ducky minis because that's a real game changer for me. And I know, or I hope, Ducky will improve even more in the future. So guys, if you have any questions or I forgot about anything, just put it down in the comments below and let me know. So far, I have to say thank you for watching my video today, and I hope you are also there and watching the next ones, guys. Thanks, goodbye.